let's make a coffee sleeve. Here's just a takeout cup. Put your tea and your coffee in there. And then here is a wool, made of wool, coffee cozy or coffee sleeve, all made of wool. And the embellishments are steampunk. I've got some seed beads, some embroidery, big bead, steampunk gear, and also a key. And this fits a nice large cup. Here's also another one. These colors are coffee type of colors that I like. This is a smaller one. And I'm going to show you how to make these right now. The supplies that you're going to need: a tray with a lift. This is a boot tray. And I like it because it's got these grooves. And how you make felt is to agitate wool, fleece, agitate with some water and soap. So here we have some sheep fleece. It's unspun. If you spin it, you create yarn. There's several colors here. I've picked some colors that I thought would make a nice cup cozy, kind of steampunky looking. So I've got my fleece, I've got my tray, I've got some hot soapy water, and I need some things to agitate the soap and the water and the fleece together. So there's a couple of things you can use. You can use some bubble wrap. That will help. Or I quite like using this non-stick, non-slip rug. I like that. And also you will need a towel or two. Okay, let's get felting. So I'm just going to move my water off to the side. I'm going to take all of my fleece off for now. And I'm going to add my non-stick carpet or rug holder here. When I make a cup cozy, I'm going to make it larger than I need because the felt will shrink. I like the large kind. So I'm going to start with some nice gray. I'm going to just pull it apart. The properties of wool are they're like hair. They've got, every strand has a scale, and the scales hold together when they're hot, soapy water's at it, and the scales will hold together, and the more you agitate them, the more they'll stick together and become a piece of felt. There's different kinds of sheep and different kinds of sheep wool. I'm going to take this apart. I'm going to bring my hands far apart and just pull. And when I pull, you can see how long the staple is. That's called the staple. So this staple is, it looks like it's about 3 inches. So I'm going to start laying down my fleece. This is like painting with wool. A cup cozy isn't much more than about a ½ an ounce of fleece. This is a 2-dimensional project. And then when we roll it together, it becomes a three-dimensional project. Oh, this one's actually tied in a knot. Let's untie that. I'm going to add some more. I want some dark bits and some light bits. I don't want to see through it. Now I'm going to go in the other direction. So this is all laid this way. I'm going to go in the other direction. So when I agitate with water and soap and movement, I will be able to get these bits of hair, bits of fleece to stick together. There we go. Good. Now I'm going to turn it over. Oh, I've got some nice gray bits there. Now I'm going to add some red. I can't see through it. This is about 1/2 ounce. I'm going to lay the fleece in different directions. And then I'm going to put a little bit of red on this side. Just a little bit. Okay, now it's time to add some water. I want my hands to be soapy as well. So I want my hands to be nice and soapy. This is just hot water, not hot enough to burn my hands, nice and hot. And I'm just using dish soap. You can use laundry soap. Adding quite a bit of water. I'm going to press down. Make sure that I have no holes, and I'm just going to gently shape it. I want to make it larger than I need because it will shrink. This is going to be our steampunk themed cup cozy. Already by just pressing down and adding the hot soapy water, I'm already feeling that it's becoming a piece of fabric. Might want to add some more there. I'm going to turn it over. Oh, that's so pretty. This is a very fluid and organic type of art because you're not exactly sure how it's going to turn out. Will I need to wet felt it for 1/2 hour or 15 minutes or an hour? Will I need to add some needle felting to it if I'm finding that there's bits that aren't felting together? Add a little bit more. Nice hot soapy water. Okay, now I'm going to get my paper. I'm just going to, it's not quite long enough here. I'm just going to go like this. Give it a bit of a rub. I can get a longer piece if I want. Now I'm going to roll it up and really start agitating it. I'm going to do it without a towel, and then I'm going to do it with a towel. So I want to just start rolling it together. The towel gives more control over the slippiness. But what I want to do is get a little bit of the soapy water out first before I add the towel. Okay, I'm just going to tilt my hot soapy water back into the bowl. There we go. Now I'm going to add a towel. When you've got towels with holes in them and you don't think you're going to use them anymore, this is the perfect thing to keep them with. So I'm just going to roll it up into the towel and then start rolling. This is the perfect project to do when you are a beginner and you want to make something useful and beautiful. And this is the same instructions as if you're going to make something larger, like some clothing. So a big piece of fabric to make clothing, or a scarf, or a wrap. I'm adding pressure. This is a two-dimensional object. You can make some beautiful three-dimensional projects by adding resist or a form to felt over. And once this dries, we can embellish it. Okay, let's remove the towel and see what we have. There we go. We have fabric. That did not take long, but I want to stretch it out. I can tell that it definitely needs some more felting because I bet I could lift. See, I don't want to be able to lift. This felted well together, but I still need a little bit more here. Oh, it's doing very well. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I want a harder surface, so I'm going to have my surface here. I'm going to smash this down, and sometimes what I'll see is the felt that is quite loose, and then also the felt that is quite strong by doing this. This scares the fibers together. Okay. See, I could tell that's just too furry. I don't want it furry, I want it felted. I might have to needle felt a little bit of the red. I'm going to add some hot soapy water again. Yeah, I can feel the fibers that aren't sticking. So now what I'm going to do is slap again and get my entire studio wet. Okay. See, there's places it's starting to shrink. Okay. I do like it though. I like the designs. I like the veiny looks. This will look very nice with some gears and keys and seed beads. Okay, I'm going to roll it again. You do this process as often as you need. So I'm just going to... I like the bumpy side. I'm going to add a little bit more soapy water. It's still warm. If it starts to get cold, you can warm it up a little bit. Okay. Roll it up. There's my towel. Let's try a small towel this time. Small finger towel, and roll it up. Let's give it some rolls. Pressure. I'm going to continue this for about 200 more rolls. You do the same. See you in a moment. Clear water. I'm going to run the tap and then just get as much soap out as I can and then shape it to let it dry. This type of project can dry overnight. It'll definitely be dry by tomorrow. If it's not dry, I could put it in front of a fan. It quite possibly could be dry in a couple of hours. So that's what I'm going to do, is get the soap out and then examine to see if it needs a little bit of needle felting. Maybe there. or maybe I can just, with my fingers, get it to felt a little bit better. So this part is done. It just needs to dry before we can embellish it. This next cup cozy is going to have the theme of arts and crafts. I have some beads and some charms that are silver plated, and they have a little bit of, one is a scissor and the other one is that I like knitting, and it says yarn. So I have a bunch of craft type of charms that I'm going to add to this. So this, I am only using one type of fleece for this. This came in a package. That's way too much. We only need about ½ ounce. And this is the same wool. I'm not combining wool like I did in this first project, the steampunk project. I used different types of sheep wool. This is all one type. And I'm just going to pull it apart. This should go quite quickly because it's the same wool, which is dyed with a little bit of gray and some blue. I love this color combination. And I'm going to put it horizontal and vertical. Again, great project because it's fast and it's the same type of instructions, the same type of craft theory as doing a scarf or a great big piece of fabric so you could make clothing. Okay, I could turn it over to see what I want. So it's going this way. I think I'm going to pull that apart a little bit of drama. And hands are soapy. Nice warm soapy water. Press it down. If my hands aren't soapy, I'll be lifting up the dry fleece. I can already tell how pretty this is going to be. I love the organic edges. This will be a very quick project, this one. Any type of protein fleece, so by protein I mean animal. So alpaca is an animal. Even there's buffalo yarn. There's a bit of a hole there. Okay. So another thing I can do before I roll is just take my bubble wrap and with my fingers start the agitation. Watch this. Look at this. Whoa, that got big. It's spreading out. And all these projects shrink, so whatever size you want, make it larger. Okay, that's way too large. But you see what happened is it's already starting to felt together. You see, it's very easy to lift up. I don't want it this large, even when it shrinks. So this is going to be longer so I can overlap and play with it. Okay, let's roll it up. Get some of the soapy water out. Popping bubbles. We're popping the bubble wrap. Alright, I'm just going to take this out and put it back in the bowl. Start rolling it. Let's add a towel. And then we'll slap it down. There we go. It's only about that wide, so I can just use one hand. When making a scarf, which will take all day, maybe 2 or 3 days to make a scarf, you'll need both hands and a lot more rolling. At least 200 to 300 rolls per small project like this. I'm adding pressure. These make amazing presents, gifts. You can put a little package together for your friends with some felting needles, felt, some beads, some charms, a little embroidery. A little bit of everything goes into this. Let's see, what do we got? Good. Ah, I can see there's holes. Okay. It is definitely felted together. And I want to fill those holes. So I can either, a couple things. See, there's a hole there. I can either leave that there as a nice embellishment. I can add some more felt. Oh, that's a good stretchy one. Good. I actually want it nice and stretchy. But you see how it shrunk? I mean, it had been this big. So now it's shrinking, and I want to pull it out this way because I do want it to overlap. I'm going to leave this hole, and I might use that as an embellishment. So when it rolls over, I can put a button or something there. But here, I will either wet felt some more, because it's the same, it will probably wet felt right on it, or I can needle felt. So I'm going to add a little bit more felt this way and this way. And I think that's the only hole. Yep. Can't see through anywhere else. Add some more water, press down. Get some bubble wrap in there. I always like using needle felt, or the needle felting after I wet felt, just to see where I want to add a little bit more. Remember, I'm leaving that hole. Can I lift up? This is really good. So here I can only lift up a little bit. So I am going to roll again. I always tend to roll 2 or 3 times. Okay, get a dryer towel. And roll it up. These boot trays come in very handy. Nice thing about a project like this is if you haven't figured out how you want to embellish it, that's fine. You can just make the cup cozy, the cup sleeve now, and then embellish it the way you want as you find the beads. Or what I really like to use is broken costume jewelry. You know, Nana always has that box of broken costume jewelry. These are perfect projects to put on. You can even make an heirloom. Get all the costume jewelry from Nana that's broken, and make these for your cousins and your sister and your brother. Okay, I'm going to take another look. And I am going to slap it down soon. Okay. Oh, it's much better. Look at that. Okay. I'm just going to remove that. Now do my slapping. Agitating it some more. Scaring it into becoming felt. Okay. Still pliable. It won't be as pliable once it dries. I love this. So I'm going to take it now and I'm going to rinse it under coolish to lukewarm water just to get the soap out. See, at this point it won't felt to itself anymore, which is nice. Get all that soap out. You can smack it a couple more times when it's just a little bit of water in it. And lay it flat to dry. And then we shall embellish it soon. Let's see. This is doing what I wanted to do. I wanted it to overlap. And then with that hole, I do want that to be a hole. And then I can do all sorts of neat things with that. So here is the art and craft, our crafty sleeve, and here is our slightly smaller steampunk sleeve. And then while these dry, I'm going to be gathering some nice steampunk colored thread and floss and seed beads and some really cool steampunk charms. And we will finish the project when it all dries.